Hi, I'm Brenton Miegel from Goldsborough Financial Services. Welcome again to another of our educational videos. May I remind you that it's not designed to give you specific advice, but more to give you some information. Today I want to spend some time talking about Centrelink benefits, particularly following a redundancy payment. When you take a redundancy payment, one of the first things you should consider is to perhaps approach Centrelink and talk to them about potential income support. For most people, you would be looking at what's called newstart allowance or the dole, for want of an expression. Newstart allowance is available to any and everyone over the age of 22. Once you attain the age of 55 or beyond, the requirements for newstart allowance under what's called mutual obligation aren't as stringent as it is for those who are under 55. Newstart allowance is an income support payment made by Centrelink. It's not something that's designed to be on for the long term. It's designed to be paid to you while you're between jobs. One of the things you need to bear in mind with newstart allowance is that you have what's called a mutual obligation. That mutual obligation means that you might need to be actively seeking employment, and Centrelink will advise you as to how many jobs you may need to apply for or register for each particular fortnight. Your Centrelink officer may also talk to you about retraining or upskilling as part of mutual obligation. Another option with mutual obligation is to undertake some volunteer work. For most people that means 15 or 16 hours per week, so a couple of days, but it means getting you out and about, and it has the potential to lead to paid employment. For those that are over 55, as I mentioned before, the obligations aren't quite as stringent as it is for those that are under age 55. When you take your redundancy payment, you're going to receive three main payments, that being the redundancy payment itself, annual leave that's accumulated and being paid out as a lump sum, and the same with long service leave. So you're going to receive a lump sum payment of a number of weeks for each of those three different payments. It means from newstart allowance point of view that you're going to have a waiting or preclusion period based on the number of weeks that your payout is with your redundancy payment. Another thing with newstart allowance is that everyone has a basic 1 week waiting period, and there may also be what's called a liquid asset waiting period. The liquid asset waiting period is based on the amount of accessible funds you have either in the bank or perhaps in shares or managed funds. If you're a single person and you have more than $5,500 in accessible funds, or if you're a couple with more than $11,000 in accessible funds, you'll have a maximum liquid asset waiting period of 13 weeks. What you need to bear in mind is that the liquid asset waiting period and what's called the income maintenance period, they're the payments for long service, annual leave, and the redundancy, they're served concurrently. And so they don't add the 13 weeks to the number of weeks of annual and long service leave and redundancy that you've already been paid out. I mentioned up front about applying to Centrelink for newstart allowance. The best way to apply is to actually jump online to humanservices.gov.au. Centrelink nowadays are encouraging people to do a lot of their applying and registering and recording of information via that website. You will need to set up a login and then basically follow your nose with the information that they require. Alternatively, you can go into a Centrelink branch and talk to someone at the counter there, or a third way of doing it is to jump on the phone and again talk to someone about your individual situation. They'll be able to send you the necessary paperwork, or if you're doing it online, you complete the paperwork online, and from there you'll get correspondence back from Centrelink confirming eligibility and potential income support. Then they will arrange for you to meet with someone to talk about your mutual obligation requirements. Centrelink are there to assist us and not to hinder us. Yes, there's some hoops that you've got to jump through in order to maximise your income support from Centrelink, and as I said before, it is designed as a stopgap or a short-term measure. If you've got any questions or queries about Centrelink, don't be afraid to talk to someone there or have a chat to your financial planner.